Hey guys, welcome back to Murray Crab Fishing. Beautiful weather we're having. I hope you're doing well today. Unfortunately, I'm not. Right here, we've got mine and Tegan's kayaks. The other day while we were out, we had to drag them 2 kilometres back to the car because we couldn't get access. I've actually worn a hole in the keel of mine and Tegan's as well. So we're going to do a quick video on how to repair that. I've got quite a bit of damage here. So firstly, the material that most of these modern kayaks are made out of is HDPE. That's high density polyethylene. You can't glue these or silicone them, it won't work. So you need to melt some more HDPE into the damaged area. So before we get started on that, I'm going to show you where you can find some HDPE around your home. Believe it or not guys, the first stop on our tour for search of HDPE is our recycle bin. Funny enough, not only will you find, most likely at your place, HDPE in here, your recycle bin, let's see how clear this comes up, is actually HDPE. So if you have an old broken bin around your place, that's actually the same material your kayak's made out of, and you could fix your kayak with your recycle bin itself. I wouldn't recommend using a new one, that's going to be costly. But if you have an old bin around, they're actually made out of HDPE. Now, before we go any further, HDPE is always recognised by this symbol. It's the 2 in the triangle with the arrows. Generally it has HDPE written underneath it, but not always. So if we flick this up, I won't point you in there because it's disgusting. Dishwashing detergent. On the bottom there, you can't see that, but that is the HDPE symbol. That is the material your kayak is made out of. Iced coffee. Iced coffee is a HDPE product. There it is, the symbol on the bottom. You can use that to repair your kayak. Milk is HDPE. So straight up, I've got 3 different containers with quite a bit of material to repair my kayak. Let's look further. I've been degreasing my car out the front. What's this container made out of? Oh, look at that. HDPE. So I guarantee you guys, there's 4 examples right there. If you go through your shed, through your bin, there's quite a volume of material there. I'll move this into another container that's not HDPE. And I've got quite a fair bit of material to repair my kayak. Well guys, I'm in the kitchen with those couple of containers I got out of the bin. They're going to need to clean. So I'm going to do that now and get the tools ready. We're going to run through them in a minute. But while I'm doing that, here's some B-roll of some other HDPE products that are commonly found around houses, in supermarkets and Bunnings, etc. Enjoy. Right, the things you're going to need guys at a minimum are a knife or scissors to cut your material, a rag for cleaning, and some methylated spirits or mineral terps to clean the area, a heat gun, some scrapers, and of course your materials. You might also like to have some heat-proof gloves of some description. And if you've got thicker material, it's a good idea to have some aluminium foil on a tray and soften it in the oven. Because this is so thin, the heat gun will do. But if you've got thicker drums and things, like, you know, good 5mm, 10mm thick material that you're trying to use, put it in the oven at 100 degrees and let it warm up. But we're not going to do that here, so let's jump over, and we're going to clean the area on the kayak before we do anything else. Once we've got the area clean, we're actually going to start cutting our material up to suit the shape. So there's a big indent where my finger is right here, and in that groove is way lower than obviously this bit here that's worn off. So I want to start layering in here, then the next piece a bit bigger, next piece a bit bigger. So I'm actually going to build this all the way up. So we cut our material up, and we start by cutting out the pieces that we want. Once you've got a few bits cut, we want to get the heat gun out. I'm going to start by heating the kayak first. We want to get the kayak to come up with a shiny wet look, which means it's actually starting to melt and it's getting ready to weld. As this thinner stuff heats up to a workable temperature, you can see that it starts to go clear. Then you know that you're at the right temperature to start smearing it in. You should normally keep the heat going, but I'm trying to film as well. So then you start pushing it in. Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep the heat going, so I'll put you back over there, and I'll seal this section off. So far it's not pretty, but you can see I've got a bit of bulk of stuff there. It's starting to harden up, and what I'm saying by blending is there's no lip. You can see where I've melted this way and this way, and they're melted into each other. What that means is you're getting a proper weld and a proper connection, especially here. Like, you can't tell, apart from like looking at it, but if you run your hand over there, you can't tell where one starts and the other one finishes. So this is just a rough first layer or first stage. What I'm going to do is start getting some bulk now and start bulking this side up, build this side up level, because you can see it's worn on on that angle. So I'm going to bulk this side up to level it off across the keel. Let's see how we go. Why I'm not just doing this all bulk, putting it all on at once, is because you want to make sure each layer is stuck to the last to give it that integrity and that strength, that thickness. If you just bang them all on and hope for the best, you might get the top one to stick along the outsides, but the middle pieces are all just single thin layers. You need them all to melt all the way along to be stuck to each other. And the more you bulk this up, the more you can heat it without it sagging away, because there's a volume of material there. That's just common sense, but I mean, it's worth mentioning. So when you start with, you got to be real careful about the heat you apply, but once you get it somewhere near right, let the whole lot cool down. When you let it cool down, then you can actually come back and heat the top to shape it without the whole lot just sagging away, because you've got a volume of plastic here. If it sticks, you notice occasionally it sticks, heat the knife up. If the knife's hot, it won't stick to the knife. A scraper, whatever you want to call it. Although this ice break, I think it was iced coffee, doesn't really exactly match this colour, it's definitely better suited to the kayak than the white. So I've just made 2 sleeves that are going to overcoat the whole lot with in this colour. So let's see how that turns out. Hopefully that's good. Well guys, I've got it this far. She's getting late and dark. All I'm up to now is just smoothing off and tidying up the edges. You can see that I've kept the general shape. It's not 100%. Sorry, it's not 100% on this side. I'm going to clean it up a bit more, but I've bulked this way up. I've still got a bit low here, but I've actually, you can hear that, I've actually got a ton of material on it now. So I'm just up to, you know, gluing down these edges and tidying it up and smearing it in. But I've laid each layer, heated it and connected it. So this is practically just one big solid piece now, the keel, back to where it should be. I'll tidy it up, I'll take a photo, and that'll finish the video. Well guys, you might want to take yours further than this, but I am not a very cosmetic person. I would rather it be functional. If you are a bit more cosmetic, you'll need to take a little bit of time. Warm an area, shape it, warm an area, shape it. Don't warm a big chunk, because it will just collapse in, and what you end up with is a big hole and you have to build it back up again. So what you want to do is warm an area with have some gloves on, warm an area and push it in and let it cool, or like pour some water on it if you want to do it quicker, and then move to the next spot, and when it cools it'll stay where it is. Warm the next spot, shape it, cool it, warm the next spot, shape it, cool it, move on through, and then warm your knife and your edges a little bit of time and smooth them in before you sand them, and then sand them. I've done a rough sand, I've got it waterproof, I've got it bulked up, it's solider than it was when I started, so I'm very happy with the practicality of the finished product. It doesn't look the prettiest. I'm going to show you that now. So here it is guys, we've got this really solid thick chunk, and you will notice it is no longer dog poo brown. I really wasn't happy with that colour when I put it on. I talk about not being super cosmetic, but that stood out terribly. So I got a water drum in blue. I didn't have that. That was $12 for that whole drum at Bunnings. So, you know, if you want to do blue patching, $12, there's enough there to do a heap of kayaks. So I put a big singular piece on top, heated the area until it was glossy. I heated this separately away until it went almost clear and soft in gloves. Then I reheated the kayak itself to make sure it was still glossy, and I laid it down and I bent it as I continued to heat it. I didn't overheat it because, like I said, I don't want it to collapse in. Instead, it's got a couple of waves in it, and that's what I mean about shaping. You could have your glove on, heat this patch gently, hold it in, pour some water on it, let it set and move along and shape all that out. if that appeals to you, that does not faze me one little bit. What I'm worried about is this. Look at that. Solid chunk. There's a couple of lips there because I couldn't be bothered sanding it. You could just sand that out. There's heaps of meat there. Sand it out smooth if you wanted to. But that's one piece. It's sealed. There's no lip. You know, nothing's going to lift off there. You can't lift. Where are we? You can't lift this. It's actually stuck. You can see where this is melted in. Okay, so it's actually one piece now. So that's the finished product. Like, it's not the prettiest, guys, but it'll do the job. And if that's all you're after, if you're just after a repair job, you can get it to this stage. If you want a prettier repair job, just spend a bit more time on it, sand it, shape it, and it'll come up real good. I just could not be bothered, and for this demo I don't think I need to show you that piece. If you want to do that, by the time you've got this far, you'll know enough to keep doing that yourself. So I really do hope this has been helpful. Thanks for being with me. I hope you enjoyed, and please like, subscribe, comment, share, and stick with us for more info and more adventures. Cheers, guys.